Hey everybody, this is Nathan Simmons once again, and on this video, I'm actually going to be showing on the mobile version of the Agent Assist how to filter and sort your leads that you've already downloaded. So I will say on the mobile version, you actually have a lot more different ways to be able to sort your leads that you have, and it's very important for you to understand how to do so just because it can be very extensive. So I'm going to try to go through this as slowly as I can without making this recording really long, but there can be a lot to this. So I will encourage you, to play around with this just because there are a lot of different ways you can filter and sort what you're looking for. But to me, it's more important for you to understand what you're looking at. So first off, I will say that this is what your lead screen is going to look like, and just as a viewing preference, should you choose to, you actually can minimize the map. I kind of have an example version just for training purposes. You can see I kind of have leads all over the Dallas area and also into East Texas, but if you click on that little gray bar that's right there in the center of the screen, if you click that, it will actually minimize the map. So just for a viewing preference, if maybe you want to make your screen a little bit bigger, that's one option. But also, you notice there are different icons that I have here on my screen, and I've got different ones here. You got, one with a one on it and an exclamation point, and I kind of have some with a Q and some people there. And so, what I want to make sure that we all understand is what all of those mean. If you see any of these that have just a little person on them, that indicates that that is a new lead. And that means that you haven't qualified it yet, hadn't verified anything on it. So that's what that indicates. You may have tried, you may have called, or you may have done a drop and you just weren't successful, but it's still in the new lead stage. Anywhere that you see a Q means that you have qualified it. It's now considered a qualified lead. You can see there's an example of one right there. Anywhere that you see that there's a one, I think I just had one just a second ago somewhere. There we go. Yeah, anywhere that you see that there's a one on that lead, that means I have a first appointment with that lead, or maybe I've already had the first appointment. It just hasn't moved and progressed to the second appointment yet, or it may not. We may be at a standstill. And then same thing for a second appointment. Anywhere you see a two, see there's an example of one there. And then anywhere that you have an enrollment, I don't quite remember what that one looks like just for this training purposes, but I believe there's like an E on there. So I mean, you can kind of tell just it's pretty self-explanatory. So but there is one thing that I do want to point out. You notice there are some other leads here that have some red on them, and it's actually an exclamation point. And so those are things that you need to be aware of, just because those red exclamation points can mean one of two things. It can mean, number one, it's about to expire, or it could also mean that there is some action that needs to be taken on that specific lead. For instance, let's say this lead up here near Louisville. Maybe I ran an appointment with that client and I never actually went in and put what the result of that appointment was. And so it is indicating to me, hey, you had an activity, you never actually put in and put what the result of that activity was. So it's basically a reminder to, hey, go put whether you actually completed the appointment or not, what happened on the appointment. Did you actually schedule a second? Was it rescheduled? Was it a no-show? You go put in that summary activity, because you really shouldn't, one of the goals is to make sure that you're completing every action item that you schedule, whether it be a call, a drop, a meeting or an email or whatever it is. So that's all that means there. And there are actually ways to figure out which one that red exclamation point is indicating, whether or not it's telling you that it's about to expire, or there's an action item that needs to be taken, and I will cover that later on this video. So first off, those are some different just viewing things there, but now as far as actually sorting some of the stuff, just so you guys kind of know, before I actually get into all of that, I want you guys to know, just on the mobile version, there's actually kind of some quick little tricks that you can actually do just from your lead screen that can make things a little bit quicker. Number one, if you actually slide your like a specific lead to the right, let's say I have an appointment with this Linux International Incorporated we see here at the top of the screen. If I swipe to the right, there will actually be an option where I can quickly get directions and hit route, and it'll give me directions and take me to my Apple Maps on my phone. All right. If I swipe to the left, there are actually three options to where I can actually quickly log a phone call or a meeting or a drop if I've done any one of those three. So something that I think is kind of neat, especially from phone calling, to where if you're, let's say we're going through one of our appointment call clinics, I can quickly just swipe to the left, hit call, and then boom, I'm into the phone call compared to having to click on something and scroll down, and it can be a little bit quicker. So play around with that yourself as well. Now, also with the search box, that's another way you can actually filter stuff. So if maybe I'm searching for leads in a specific area, maybe I just want to look in the Richardson area. First, I got to spell it right. With the city of Richardson, Texas, here's all the leads that are in Richardson, Texas. Okay. I can also do the same thing by typing in a certain zip code. Maybe I want to look at 75080, and sure enough, got all those businesses in 75080. So, and then also I could even search by business name should I want to. Maybe I was looking up the business Tech Pro right there. If I typed in the word just tech, you can actually see I've actually got quite a few businesses with either the word tech in it or the beginning of the word technology or technical or something of the variation of the such. So um, those are that's obviously a quick way. I mean, it works like a typical search bar would that you've probably used anywhere else. All right. Now, before I actually cover the batch feature, I'm actually going to go through a little bit more on just sorting what you're looking at. Okay. So the way that you can actually sort what you're looking at, if you notice here, I've got all kinds of different leads at all kinds of different stages, and there's a bunch of different ways that you can filter what you're looking at. So I encourage you all to, as you're getting familiar with this app, to go online or to go onto the mobile app, play around with it yourself, just so you can better understand it. But the way that you can actually filter things is by hitting the filter button, or which looks like a funnel on the very far right of the screen here. So if I hit that, going to have a little pop-up box, and currently it's showing me all my leads from my current location. And so if I hit the drop-down box on the show leads, there's actually a bunch of different ways that I can actually sort my current leads. I can have it filter it from newest to oldest, where it will filter it from the newest lead that I've downloaded down to the lead that I've had the very longest. And so I go all the way down here. The AVI communications on the training environment is the lead that I have had the longest. Okay, so that's an option. And you can also go vice versa and go oldest to newest. You can also sort your leads alphabetically, should you choose to do so. You can also do things by newest and oldest activity, which is, I'll hit more on here in just a few seconds. But you could also do, a certain radius. Maybe I'm wanting to do everything within 10 miles of maybe a certain location. Maybe I know I'm going to be in a certain area running an appointment one day, and I can do this right here, and I want to show me everything within 10 miles of where my appointment I've got on that specific day. And so maybe, hey, I want to call all of these businesses to try to set appointments with them since I'm already going to be in the area. Okay, so there are different ways that you can filter some of those things. So, but one thing that I said that I would talk about that I haven't quite yet, one of the ways that you can actually filter is by newest activity or oldest activity. And I will tell you that oldest activity filter is probably my favorite, just because of the ease of use. And what that means is basically any time that I complete an activity, I make a phone call or do a drop or just anything that I actually do to a specific lead, it will automatically move it down to the very bottom of my list, to where it will always basically keep the lead at the very top, to where, or the lead at the top basically telling me, hey, you need to make something happen to this one. Just because, for instance, if I make a phone call to somebody and let's say they don't answer, it'll drop it down to the very bottom of the list, to where it'll basically allow me to call everybody else before I call that lead that didn't answer again. That way I'm not repetitively calling the same lead over and over and over again and not realizing that I am. So it'll make more sense whenever you actually put it to use, but that is my favorite filter. So moving a little bit further down, I won't really worry about the location, and we've already kind of talked about that. But let's say you're on a normal, middle day of the week, and you don't have any appointments, and you're just going to come into the office and you're going to do some qualification calls. Well, the kinds of leads that you want to look at when you're doing qualification calls is new leads. leads that you haven't qualified yet. So if I hit apply, it's going to show me all of these leads here. It's going to show me all the leads that I have not qualified yet. So these are the leads, and if you notice, all of those all have just a little guy on them, and it looks like I got some of them that might be getting close to expiring. And so that's one option, all right? To the same type of methodology with all this is, let's say you're going in on a Friday morning and you're going to be doing an appointment call clinic. Well, the kind of leads that I would want to be calling or sort, just so I can see, like, hey, I'm going to come in, I'm going to start trying to set some appointments to fill my week. I want to be calling people that I've already qualified and verified that would be a good potential client to set an appointment with. So if I hit apply, sure enough, you can see I've actually got fewer of those, but just for the sake of this training, I've got, these businesses are going to be good potential businesses that I can reach out to and try to set appointments with, because I know I've already qualified them. And you could, even if you wanted to, if I wanted it to show me all the leads that that's at the DM1 stage, it'll show me that. And I've got some kind of all over the Texas region there. And then even some that maybe I want to show me ones that are at the DM2 stage. And I've got a couple there as well. So just a little bit further, you can also have it show you leads that have overdue activity. Okay, remember the red exclamation point that I had talked about? This is where you can kind of show, hey, I want it to show me all the leads that, I've forgotten to complete something or mark something as complete. And so if I hit that, looks like I've actually got a few here that have some overdue activity. Maybe it's a scheduled drop or whatever the case may be. I've got some activity that needs to be logged. All right. Maybe I need it to show me leads that are about to expire, which I don't think I'm going to have much here for this example, but that's one sorting. Sure enough, I actually don't have any. All right, but that's another option. You can also have it show you the leads based on what is your next activity that you may have scheduled with a certain lead. You could have it show you, hey, I want it to show me all the leads that my next step with them is a meeting. So you can see, like, hey, my next step, let me clear this. The next activity is a meeting. Something's not right here. Anyway, I'm not sure what's going on. It's been playing with me a little bit this morning as I've been making this video. But anyway, so that's basically what that means, is if that's the next activity. You can also filter by industry. You can also filter by employee size, should you maybe want to just see what businesses you have that are a certain company size or a certain industry. So you can see there's a bunch of different ways that you can do certain things. Okay, so just for the sake of this next example that I'm going to show, I've got all these leads here that we're seeing, or all these leads are all considered new leads. I haven't done anything to these yet. The last thing that I'll show on this video is there is actually a way to where you can actually do a batch activity with some things. And so, which basically means I'm going to be logging multiple things at one time. Okay, and so the batch feature is the button that is actually right next to the filter button that looks like that funnel. It's got that check mark and like three arrows that are pointing up. So let's say, for instance, an example of a batch feature, there are actually 4 different things that you can log all at one time, but I'm really only going to cover one. But one of the ways is, let's say there are a few businesses that I've been trying to get in touch with, and I just haven't been able to. Well, I can actually, basically say, hey, you know what? I haven't been able to get a hold of them by phone. I'm going to just drop in and see them when I'm out and about with them. Well, I'm going to hit my batch button, and let's say it's these, 5 or 6 companies right here. Okay, these 6 companies that, hey, you know what? I've been trying to get a hold of those 6, and you know what? I'm going to schedule a time to where I'm just going to drop in and see them and see if I can't talk to the owner there and introduce myself to him. So I'm selecting all 6 of those at one time. I'm going to hit next, and then it's going to take me to an option of, there are 4 things that I can do. I could say, hey, I called all 6 of these, and it would mark that I made a phone call with all 6 of them. I could also say, hey, I completed a drop with them, and I dropped in on all 6 of them. So that may be something that you might do after you've gone and seen all 6 of these. But you could also do, hey, you know what? I want to schedule a call with all 6 of these. I'm going to, put something in my calendar to remind me to call every single one of these at a given date and a given time. But what I've been talking about is, hey, you know what? I want to schedule a drop. I'm going to put something in my calendar to remind me to go by and see those 6 clients to try to see if I can't make something happen. So I'm going to hit schedule a drop, and then I can pick whatever day I want to do so. I'm going to put Wednesday at, let's say, I don't know, maybe I want to start at 10 a.m. next Wednesday morning, and I'm going to hit save. And so I had those 6 leads that have been marked with drop activity. Okay. Well, this is something I'll also show in another video, but I want you to see what happens whenever you've done that. So I've scheduled those 6 drops very easily and very quickly. So now if I go to my daily plan down at the bottom, and I'm going to go to March the 24th, which is that Wednesday at 10 a.m. Sure enough, if you notice, there are these 6 drops that I just scheduled for that Wednesday at 10 a.m. And they've already kind of got them pre-selected where, hey, you'll go see this one at 10 o'clock and 10:05 and 10:10. Really the time doesn't matter, because some of that, it may not be right. This is really just kind of giving you an idea of, hey, go see these people at, starting at this time and go drop in on them. Okay, that's the activity that you just logged, but you all did it at once instead of, going and doing it one by one by one. But one of the things that I think is pretty cool with that, which I'll talk about again on another video, but if you notice down at the bottom, it says view my traveling day on a map. If I click that, what it will actually do is it will show you, the order in which that you should go see these 6 people. And it pretty much does it in a way that makes sense just locationally. So, hey, it's going to tell me to go see this first person. And if I zoom in a little bit, then it'll, if I slide to the left, it'll be like, hey, go see that person. Go see that person because that one's, not far from them. And then go see that third one. Then go see that fourth one. Then go see that fifth one. And then go see that sixth one. And then sure enough, there's that 6th one that's kind of way far out. That way we're not going back and forth. It's going to have me all to, go visit those first 5 that I wanted to go see, which are all kind of on the same highway, and then I'll go see that last one. And so it's a neat little feature, but that is how you can actually log multiple activities all at once. And so again, guys, this is a very extensive sorting feature. It's really no different than anything else that you may have sorted, whether you're trying to buy something on a certain website or, just whatever. Okay. Just make sure that, you play around with this and you get familiar with it just because, it can be overwhelming looking at all of your leads, but just know that there are ways to be able to, look at what you're doing. And so should you ever have a question about it, feel free to, talk to your trainer, whether it be me or your manager, because they can walk you through it. Because I would venture to say I've been asked a lot of questions before about how to filter something, or they're saying, hey, I wish we could do this. And generally, there already is a way. Okay, so this is a video that I would say you almost have to revisit time and time again, just because there's a lot of different ways to sort stuff. But the more that you use it, the more familiar you get with it, and it'll just become second nature. So hope this helps you guys today, and look forward to seeing you guys on another video.